Hello and welcome to my studio journal. Now back in 2022, I started to redesign my home studio, shifting from software to hardware for the first time. What began as a few videos for some curious students soon became an ongoing unfiltered record. So after a little bit of trial and error, that was a whole lot of error. It didn't work at all. No. When I went to use the box like this and this thing with the unbalanced cables, yeah, that didn't work. Part of the problem I'm having right now is that the system that I had before, I had hooked it up using XLR cables. But the only use I have for these cables is to run monitors. So it's a possibility that I can use all these cables from the last system I had set up. This would be ideal if I could connect these two together. Using this particular adapter, I can now fit these two ends together. This should give me at least a little bit more cable to maybe get to the monitor switch. That way I'm also not wasting all these cables. So I may as well see if I can actually use them in my studio right now as it is. Right now I'm just going to drag it literally across the room, plug it on in, and see if it's what it sounds like. And if it sounds all right, then we're moving on to step 2, which is actually going to try and get these things hooked up. And then I just need to run and get 2 more of these guys. Then we're done. So this is what I've done so far. So now the monitors are hooked up, as well as the third video monitor. Everything is pretty much clean under there. What you see there is pretty much it for wiring. I'm going to be setting up the keyboard using double-edged tape. This stuff is supposed to be heavy duty, holds 30 pounds. So I'm going to try it. We'll see if it works or not. If it doesn't, then I'll have to get out some metal screws and stuff like that and deal with that. Got that squeaky floor in the back. That's always handy. Anyhow, I wired up all the speakers. Everything's labeled, and it runs through the table down there. And to the bottom of the table, I've also hooked up all of the lights. The next thing is putting in this right here, which is another wireless smart plug that's going to control the lights on this desk. We give a command, all the studio lights will turn on. One more thing is I'm going to have to try and get cords going from that mixer right there around this entire room, past this production desk, all the way over to where this monitor is. And also I want to split it off so it also goes into the machine, so I can actually sample from that mixer as well. So I have to measure the distance from the mixing board around the entire room over to the monitor switch. Now to do that I could measure the length of the wall, or I could measure the length of the wall and then down and do a whole bunch of series of measurements like that and add everything up at the end. Or I could use a contractor's tape. This tape is very much just like a rope. Basically attach it to the end of the mixer, drop this tape wherever I want. That way I can measure going down and going across and going it up behind the desk, or if I want to go and wire it up a leg, I can do that. And then I can be able to tell what the distance is of a mic cable I need to get from the mixer to the monitor switch. Now I'm going to get the wireless plug hooked up, keyboard put in place, put this keyboard back, and then we'll see where we're at that point. I went to the music store to find out they are sold out of 50-foot mic cables. So I'm not going to be able to hook up the mixer, obviously, right away, and they're not expected in for quite a while now. That's kind of put a little bit of a pause there. However, I did get my adapters, so I could hook up my KRK subwoofer again. That means these monitors hooked up, those monitors hooked up. I was saying I'm not sure about power conditioners. I'm not sure exactly how they work, meaning that people that say they don't work, there's a lot of people that say they do work. I figured out the only way I'm going to know if it works in my studio is to actually try one out. So while I was there, I was able to walk out with an applied research and technology 4x4 power condition systems. So this is just like the basic model of power conditioner you can get. I just thought it would be interesting to see if it does solve the problem as incredibly minor as it is with the Yamaha monitors. Okay, I bet you can't tell this is not a professional unboxing of this thing. So unprofessional. So anyhow, here's what this looks like. I guess we'll take it out here. Now it is a 1U rack mount. That's what the front of the thing looks like. We'll take it out of the paper here. I'm being very careful because, like I said, I really don't think that this is going to work. I don't think this is going to make one bit of a difference at all. So I want to make sure that I can put everything right back exactly the way I found it, because I have a feeling this will be going back tomorrow and that sort of thing. It seems to be fairly well built. It means it's a metal chassis. It has a front breaker switch, your regular on and off power switch there. I got it upside down right now. I'm not sure how long this cord is, but it looks long enough. And of course it has an instruction manual inside. I've already read that online, so I already know what I'm doing with that. So I guess the next thing is to do is to actually test this out and see if it makes any difference. But like I said, I highly doubt it. But I figure, why not try it? If you'd like to follow the full journey, check out my online studio journal linked in the description. Until next time, I'm just a music teacher having fun. Catch you on the next one.